I am pleased to announce today that Boeing is launching the Boeing 777X. Our sales teams have been engaging with customers around the world about this airplane, and the response has been, quite frankly, overwhelming.
It was once hailed as the future of flight, a sleek, powerful jet that would crush the competition. But now, the Boeing 777X is making headlines for a very different reason. Since its grand reveal in 2013, delays, design issues, and growing frustration have plagued the program. Airlines that once rushed to place orders are now growing restless. And just when things seemed like they couldn't get worse, Boeing's CEO dropped a huge announcement that could shake the entire aviation industry. Could this be the final nail in the 777X's troubled journey? Join us as we uncover what this stunning announcement really means. Boeing's huge announcement on the 777X. The skies are buzzing again, and not just with jet engines, but with the sound of hope, tension, and a touch of turbulence. After years of delays, broken promises, and engineering nightmares, Boeing has finally stood up at the Paris Air Show and made it official. The long-delayed 77X is still alive, and it's finally on track to fly this decade. Yes, you heard that right. Boeing didn't cancel the 777X. Instead, it doubled down. The announcement was more than just corporate optimism. It was a lifeline. Executives at the show didn't just speak, they promised.
Even though we don't assemble Boeing planes, Megan Hutton looks at what the announcement means for local suppliers and the new effort to lure Boeing to Frederickson.
Boeing is pushing to bring the aircraft into commercial service before the end of the decade, a dream that once looked like it might never take off. Justin Hale, the chief operating officer for the 777X program, told the Seattle Times that Boeing is now confident, thanks to major technical fixes and renewed cooperation with the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. But to understand what's going on properly, let's rewind for a moment. The Boeing 777X first dazzled the world at the 2013 Dubai Air Show. It was sleek, it was bold. It came in three types, the -9, the -8, and a freighter version. It was meant to be the future, an aircraft with better aerodynamics, lower fuel burn, and the ability to carry more passengers and cargo than any Boeing plane before it. But then, it stumbled. Delays piled up. Engineering problems surfaced. And after the tragic 737 MAX crashes, the FAA cracked down on certifications. This meant even more roadblocks for the 777X. A jet that once promised dominance became a slow-moving headache. In fact, the FAA didn't give the green light for full test flights until July 20th, 2024, a full 4 years after the 7779 first took flight. Yet, even after all that, Boeing didn't give up. One of the biggest technical challenges in 2024 was a part called the thruster link, which is a titanium connector between the engine and the plane's body. Cracks were found, and it looked like another deadly blow to the program. But engineers found the cause: vibrations due to limited airflow near a cooling port. Their fix: replace the part with a thicker version, seal the air gaps, and add insulation. After that, no more cracks. Test flights resumed, and this time, without drama. CEO Kelly Ortberg stressed how much work had gone into streamlining the certification process. He praised the progress, but also warned that the finish line isn't quite here yet. More tests are needed, more paperwork, more scrutiny. But there is light at the end of the runway. By the numbers, the 777X is still a success, on paper. Boeing has 535 orders from 14 airlines across the globe. That's no small feat. But not everyone's clapping just yet. In the background, aircraft leasing companies remain cautious. John Pluger, the CEO of Air Lease Corporation, says he's not sold. His concern? The secondary market? What happens to the aircraft after its first lease ends? If airlines can't find new homes for these planes later, their value drops fast. Even worse, Companies like Airlines haven't committed to buying the 77X or any other uncertified Boeing jets like the MAX 7 or MAX 10. Why? Not enough demand from customers. In a shaky global market, many are choosing to wait and see. Still, Boeing isn't backing down. The company is focusing on 3 goals: expanding its customer base, completing the certification process, and, most importantly, rebuilding trust. Because this isn't just about a plane anymore. It's about Boeing's name, its legacy, it's a promise. The 777X is not just wings and engines, it's a symbol. But to deeply understand things, let's go back to the past on how the 777X came to be. Stay tuned to find out how Boeing's dream of the 777X began and what went so wrong. To understand the chaos Boeing is facing today with the 777X, we have to turn the clock all the way back to the 1980s. It was a different era in aviation. Back then, Boeing had already launched the 767, a solid performer for medium-capacity routes. But something didn't sit right. An internal study revealed a major gap in the market. Boeing saw an opportunity. The world needed a wide-body, twin-engine jet that could carry more passengers than the 767, but cost less to operate than the 4-engine giants. Airbus, ever the fierce competitor, had already planted its flag with the A330 and A340. Boeing couldn't just sit and watch. Their first idea? Stretch the 767 and call it the 767X. But airlines weren't impressed. They wanted more than just a longer plane, they wanted a revolution. So Boeing went back to the drawing board and came up with something bold. A brand new aircraft from scratch. That aircraft would become the legendary Boeing 777, also called the 777. The 777 was officially launched in 1990. After 4 years of careful design and testing, the prototype flew in 1994. By 1995, it was ready to carry real passengers. United Airlines made aviation history that year, flying the 777 from London Heathrow to Washington Dulles. And just like that, Boeing had a winner. Between 1995 and 2010, the 777 became a superstar. Airlines loved it, passengers enjoyed the comfort, and cargo operators praised its capacity. Boeing expanded the line with the 777-200 and 777-300, offering multiple versions of each. This plane didn't just compete, it dominated. But aviation never stands still. In the mid-2000s, Airbus launched the A350 program, a response to a new demand: fuel efficiency, lighter materials, and next-gen tech. Boeing knew the 777 couldn't keep up forever. So in 2013, it made a bold move once again. At the Dubai Air Show, Boeing unveiled the 777X program. It promised everything modern airlines wanted: more seats, quieter and cleaner engines, greater fuel savings, and cutting-edge technology. Orders rolled in quickly. Airlines were excited. Boeing promised the aircraft would be ready for service by 2020. But then, the troubles began. At first, it all looked smooth. Boeing and General Electric, who built the engines, were pushing ahead. But in 2019, things started falling apart. During a crucial engine block test, GE found unexpected damage in the compressor section of the new GE9X engine. The stator blades at the front of the compressor were wearing out faster than expected. Even worse, the exhaust gas temperatures were too high. This wasn't a small fix. GE had to redesign parts of the engine, retest them, and retrofit every engine already built. That alone was a major delay. Boeing stayed optimistic. The company believed it could still meet the 2020 target if everything else stayed on track. But fate had more in store. During a vital structural stress test, where the aircraft is pushed to its limits to simulate emergency conditions, a major failure occurred. A door literally blew off the aircraft. It wasn't a live flight, but the test was being monitored closely by engineers from the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration. It was a major red flag. Tests had to be halted, and the aircraft needed serious redesign and reinforcement. By now, it was clear 2020 would not happen. And yet, the problems didn't stop there. Even after fixing the engine and redesigning the aircraft structure, Boeing ran into more trouble with regulators. After the tragic crashes of the 737 MAX, the FAA changed its entire approach to certifying new aircraft. It was no longer enough for Boeing to simply say something was safe. They had to prove every detail. That meant more paperwork, more inspections, more tests. What should have been a few months' delay turned into years of waiting. As of today, the 777X is still not certified. That's 5 years of missed deadlines. And while Boeing has reassured the world that the aircraft will enter service before the decade ends, many in the industry are starting to wonder if the dream will ever become reality. Still, Boeing is not giving up. The 777X represents more than just another jet. It's supposed to be the next chapter in Boeing's proud story. But with every passing year, that story gets harder to tell. In the end, the journey of the 777X is a reminder of a simple truth in aviation. Dreams fly high, but reality is heavy. Engineering marvels don't happen overnight. They take time, sweat, and sometimes disaster. Having looked at the past, let's look at the improvements being made towards 777X. Keep watching to find out. Inside Boeing's 777X, a new era in flight, engineered for the future. The Boeing 777X isn't just another plane, it's a bold statement. A declaration that the future of flying can be more efficient, more comfortable, and more powerful than ever before. This aircraft is not a simple upgrade. It's a leap forward, a complete redesign that redefines what a wide-body jet can be in the 21st century. At the heart of the 777X is its beating powerhouse, the GE9X engine, a true marvel of modern engineering built by General Electric. This engine is more than just big, it's smart. It uses new materials and clever design choices to cut down on fuel use. Boeing estimates that the GE9X delivers about 10% better fuel efficiency than its predecessor, the GE90. And considering the GE90 has powered the successful 777-300ER for years, that's no small feat. But Boeing didn't stop with the engine. They reimagined the wings too, and what a change it is. The new wing structure is built from carbon fiber composite materials, making it lighter and stronger than traditional aluminum wings. These wings are not just longer, they fold. Yes, fold. In a first for commercial aviation, the wingtips of the 777X fold upward while on the ground. This clever trick allows the aircraft to fit into standard airport gates, avoiding expensive airport modifications. Once airborne, the wings stretch out to a wingspan of 71.75 meters, improving aerodynamic performance and helping the aircraft slice through the sky with reduced drag. Together, the GE9X engine and new wing design help the 777X achieve an overall 12% to 13% fuel savings compared to the current 777 models. In an industry under pressure to cut costs and emissions, this matters a lot. The most impressive numbers, however, come from the -9 variant. This is the largest of the 777X family, and it delivers up to 20% better fuel economy per passenger than the 777-300ER. That means airlines can fly more people farther while burning less fuel, a win for both profits and the planet. But the 777X isn't just about numbers. It's about passenger experience too. Step inside the cabin and you'll feel the difference. The fuselage is wider by 4 inches, offering more space at every seat. On long-haul journeys, that little bit of extra room makes a big difference. The windows are 29% larger than those on previous 777 models, filling the cabin with natural light and giving passengers broader views of the world below. This helps reduce that closed-in feeling so many people dread on long flights. And it doesn't stop there. The cabin altitude has been lowered to 6,000 feet, compared to the standard 8,000 feet in older aircraft. This helps reduce headaches, dry skin, and fatigue, common complaints after long flights. Boeing has also dramatically improved the soundproofing system. Cabin noise is now reduced by an average of 8 decibels, much better than the 3 decibel improvement found in older 777 models. That means quieter cabins, more restful sleep, and less jet lag. The passenger capacity is also impressive. While older 777s carry between 314 and 396 passengers in a 2-class setup, the 777X, especially the Dash 9, can seat up to 426 passengers. This is thanks to the stretched fuselage, smarter seating layout, and efficient cabin design. More passengers mean lower costs per seat, giving airlines an edge in a highly competitive market. But Boeing didn't forget the small details either. The overhead bins have been redesigned and nearly doubled in size. Passengers can now stow their bags more easily, reducing stress during boarding and speeding up the entire process. So what does all this mean? The 777X isn't just a plane, it's a symbol of where aviation is going. A fusion of power and precision, a careful balance between performance and comfort. Boeing has taken everything that made the original 777 great and built on it, bigger, smarter, and more efficient. In a post-pandemic world where airlines are fighting to stay profitable and passengers are demanding more comfort and safety, the 777X could be the game changer everyone's been waiting for. It's not just about flying faster or farther anymore. It's about flying better. And with the 777X, Boeing believes it has built the aircraft that can do just that. With this improvement, we can easily say that the delay towards the releasing of 777X might actually be a blessing in disguise. But how sure are we? Let's find out more. Boeing's Big Gamble. Will the 777X win back trust or push airlines away for good? By choosing to delay the 777X, Boeing is finally showing that it has learned from its past mistakes. The company is now putting safety and quality above speed, a shift that many in the industry have been waiting for since the 737 MAX crisis. This new approach might help Boeing regain the trust of airlines that have been losing faith. Take Cathay Pacific, for example. Once a strong Boeing customer, Cathay recently signed a massive deal with Airbus for 30 A330-900s worth $11 billion, with options to buy 30 more. Not stopping there, they also ordered 6 A350 freighters, with an option for 20 more. That's a loud and clear message. If Boeing can't deliver, someone else will. Then there's Emirates, another airline that used to be loyal to Boeing. Frustrated by the 777X delays, Emirates went ahead and ordered 65 Airbus A350-900s to fill the gap, and they're not alone. Even KLM and Qantas, two airlines that have historically backed Boeing, have been turning to Airbus in recent months. They're buying hundreds of new jets from the European manufacturer, while Boeing gets only a small slice of the pie. So what does Boeing's latest move really mean? It could be seen as a bold and honest reset. Ortberg, Boeing's CEO, is betting big that if the company takes the time to perfect the 777X, airlines will eventually return. They'll see that Boeing is serious about safety, reliability, and long-term success. And in doing so, Boeing might finally be able to compete head-on with Airbus in the long-haul wide-body market, a market Airbus has dominated with the A350 family. For too long, Boeing has relied on the 787 Dreamliner to compete in this space. But while the 787 has been successful, it hasn't quite managed to keep up with the A350's growing presence. With the 777X, Boeing is hoping to offer something bigger, better, and more advanced. A true rival, a comeback story. But the risk? It's enormous. The longer Boeing waits, the more impatient airlines become. And the reality is, Some of them are already reaching their limit. If Boeing misses the 2026 deadline for getting the 77X certified and into commercial service, it might not get another chance. Airlines that are still holding on might finally cancel their orders. New customers will turn away, and Airbus will continue to grow stronger, taking over Boeing's place in the long-haul market. That's the danger Boeing faces right now. It's not just about delivering one aircraft. It's about rebuilding an entire company's reputation. If Boeing succeeds, the 777X could mark the beginning of a new era. But if it fails, again, the damage might be permanent, and that could hurt more than just Boeing. The commercial aviation industry depends on competition. Airlines benefit when there are multiple aircraft manufacturers pushing each other to innovate and improve. If Boeing loses too much ground, Airbus could become too dominant. That could lead to higher prices, fewer choices, and slower innovation for the industry as a whole. So, CEO Ortberg's decision is more than just a delay, it's a high-stakes move with global consequences. He's trying to steady the ship, to prove that Boeing still has what it takes, but all eyes are now on him and the 777X team. Every test flight, every certification step, every deadline, they all matter now more than ever. The next 2 years could define Boeing's future. Can they finally deliver the 777X in 2026 as promised? Can they stop the bleeding and convince airlines that it's still worth waiting for? Or will this delay become the final straw for customers already slipping away? Time will tell. But one thing is clear: Boeing is on the edge and the world is watching. Will the 777X finally rise? Or will Boeing fall further behind? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure: Boeing are making sure to do a better job in improving 777X to make it safe as possible. What are your thoughts on Boeing's announcement? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Click on the next video displayed on your screen, you will enjoy it.